In a kingdom far, far away, there were 3 beautiful sisters. Their father, who was the king, often held balls because his daughters loved to dance. But while each of the princesses danced very well, the youngest one could not dance as well as her older sisters.
You could be a little bit more graceful when you dance, Mia.
The little princess couldn't dance gracefully, even though she really wanted to. Even the guests around were looking at her strange dance and making fun of her among themselves.
What kind of dance is this?
Why is she moving like that?
I will never dance again!
Mia was so upset that she immediately left the ballroom and locked herself in a cabin deep in the forest. Looking at the stars in the sky, thinking how to dance well, she noticed a young man passing by the house. The man was dancing so gracefully and beautifully under the moonlight that Mia admired him and went outside. At that moment, when Mia suddenly screamed because of a squirrel that was rushing between her feet,
Ah! What was that?
the man stopped dancing and their eyes met.
Are you okay, ma'am?
Well, I'm fine. I think I was afraid of a squirrel.
This is their nature, ma'am. Please don't be scared.
Mia couldn't resist and asked the man how he danced so well. The man showed the shoes he was wearing.
I'm a shoemaker. I use precious materials and make magic dance shoes. That way, I can dance freely in the woods every night.
Oh, I can't believe it. I need a shoemaker just like you.
The shoemaker took out 3 pairs of magic shoes from his bag and placed them in front of Mia.
Close your eyes, make a wish, and choose one of these 3 magical shoes for your luck. But remember, every shoe has one big rule. If you don't follow that rule, the shoes can do whatever magic they want on you.
Mia immediately closed her eyes tightly. The shoemaker, on the other hand, swapped the shoes to leave it to chance which magic shoes Mia would pick.
Now you can choose a pair of shoes.
Oh, please let me be the most graceful dancing girl at the ball.
Mia selected the bright red shoes with her finger and opened her eyes.
Take them. These are yours now. But don't forget, you should wear the shoes only when you see the full moon. If you do otherwise, you cannot take off these magic shoes anymore. That's the rule.
Mia enthusiastically took the magic shoes and went to the palace. The princesses were very surprised to see their sister Mia so excited and happy.
Mia, where are you going that fast? What is that in your hands? Nothing.
Everyone gathered in the hall of the palace for another dance ball evening. Mia's princess sisters started to dance gracefully as usual in their most beautiful outfits. Little Princess Mia put on the magic shoes she got from the shoemaker and danced in the palace hall. She danced so beautifully, she kept up with the rhythm of the song so gently that the princess sisters and guests marveled at Mia.
Magnificent, so graceful.
Wow.
She is dancing so beautifully. Mia was dancing gracefully, but the shoemaker's rule slipped from her mind. Because there was no full moon in the sky that night, while Mia was dancing, she slowly started disappearing. Only her dancing magic shoes remained. At that moment, everyone in the hall started screaming in fear and running away.
Did you see that? Oh my gosh!
Mia! No! Oh, Mia disappeared!
Mia opened her eyes when everyone was screaming, but she couldn't understand what was going on. Standing in front of the largest mirror in the living room, she saw only the magic shoes she was wearing, not herself.
Whoa! I've become invisible! I did not follow the rule of the shoes. They stuck to my feet. Oh! I have to find that shoemaker.
No one could hear Mia's voice. In fact, everyone was leaving the palace in panic because of the red shoes running left and right in the hall. Mia immediately ran out of the hall. Princess sisters followed her. 3 princess sisters were walking through the forest in the dark of night. When they arrived near the cabin, they saw that young shoemaker.
This man, how well he is dancing. His shoes are just like Mia's. Plus, his bag is full of shoes.
Mia's sisters asked the shoemaker for help. However, when the shoemaker said that she had to wait until the next full moon for the spell to break, Mia got very upset and started tapping her feet non-stop.
There is one more solution, but if we do that, your shoes will lose their magic and become just ordinary shoes. If you agree, hit your feet together 3 times.
Mia thought it was better to give up the shoes than to be invisible. And she hit her feet together 3 times. The shoemaker in the front, Mia in the back, they went to the bottom of the well a little further away. The shoemaker jumped to the bottom of the well. Seeing this, the princess sisters were very surprised. After a while, the shoemaker came out of the well with a full bucket in his hand.
I will sprinkle this full moon dust at your feet and break the spell.
The spell was indeed broken when the shoemaker sprinkled the full moon dust on the magic shoes, and Mia reappeared. Her sisters immediately hugged her.
Mia, you don't need spell or magic to dance gracefully.
Because everyone should dance the way they're happy.
Yes, you are right. Thank you, shoemaker. Thank you so much.
From that day on, little Princess Mia danced in her own way as she always wanted to.
Once upon a time, in a land far, far away, there was a very cute girl named Karen. She lived in a tiny house with her mother and was a very happy girl. She would ask her mother about everything she was curious about.
Mom, what are these tiny lights in the sky?
They are stars, Karen. Everyone who lives on Earth eventually turns into a star and shines in the sky forever. Karen only had one toy, one dress, and a pair of wooden slippers she wore on the street. The wooden slippers her mother made for her were not very comfortable, but they were the only ones she had. One day, Karen's mother got very sick. So Karen went to town to buy medicine for her mother, and along the way, she found a pair of red shoes in a box on the roadside. The shoes shone so beautifully that Karen couldn't help but bring them home with her.
Look, Mommy, I found these by the roadside. Aren't they beautiful? Just right for me.
These may belong to someone else, Karen. You should immediately take them back.
But if they had an owner, she wouldn't have left them there with the box.
Maybe the owner dropped it accidentally.
Then they shouldn't have dropped it. I found them. They belong to me now. They're mine.
Baby, listen to me carefully. I may not be able to buy you new shoes right now, but I don't want you to wear someone else's shoes just because of that. Please, don't be stubborn. Promise you won't wear these red shoes. Karen sadly promised her mother not to wear red shoes and hid them under her bed. Months passed by until one day, Karen came home and couldn't find her mother in the house. She looked all over until she realized that her mother had become a bright star. The next day, on her way to her mother's funeral, Karen put on those red shoes. Those who came to the funeral couldn't take their eyes off Karen's shoes.
How dare she wear red shoes? So disrespectful.
But Karen did not care because she loved her shoes. A good-hearted old woman passed by the cemetery. This old woman learned that this little girl was now an orphan and wanted to adopt her.
Come with me, pretty girl. I will do my best to make you successful and beautiful when you grow up.
So Karen went to live with the old woman for many years.
Karen, you've been wearing these shoes since your mother's funeral. You need to take them off now. They're so dirty. No, I love my red shoes. Oh, Karen, don't be so stubborn. Come on, change your shoes. I'll buy better shoes, I promise.
Karen did not want to offend the old woman who had been so kind to adopt her. So she finally took off her red shoes and threw them away. Days passed until one day, Karen was playing in her new room with her new clothes and toys, and the old woman brought her a new pair of shoes. But Karen didn't like these shoes at all.
But these are blue. Very ugly. I don't like them at all.
So for years to come, Karen missed her red shoes a lot. She grew into a beautiful young lady, but her stubborn attitude never changed. Even when the old lady brought her gifts.
I don't want to wear this thing, but I knit this for you.
I'll never eat this food. Make me French fries.
At least take a little bite, darling.
The old woman was very upset when Karen got up from the table without having a meal. She made French fries for her and took them to her room. At that time, Karen was taking off her blue shoes. Look! See? All my things are so small now. I've grown up.
Well, come on then. Let's buy you new clothes and shoes.
Then the old woman and Karen went to the store. Oh, look! Just like my favorite red shoes. I must have them. Let's get these.
Karen, you don't need fancy red shoes. You need shoes that you can wear respectfully. Like, if we need to go to a funeral. I can only buy you one pair of shoes. Let's buy those black ones and go home. I am very tired.
I don't care. If you don't buy both shoes, I'll walk barefoot everywhere from now on.
Little girl, I wish you weren't so stubborn.
The old woman bought the black shoes for Karen and spent the last of her money to appease her with the red sparkly shoes, too. They had to walk home on foot. The old woman's feet hurt a lot along the way, and she could not keep up with the spoiled Karen. And Karen didn't care. She walked on home with her new red shoes. One day, the old woman told Karen that they needed to attend a funeral in town.
Karen, be sure to put on your black shoes. Otherwise, it will be disrespectful at the funeral.
Karen looked at the black shoes in her room, and then at the bright red ones. She chose to put on the red shoes. When they left the house, she covered them up with her skirt, so the old woman would not see the shoes. However, at the funeral, everyone saw Karen's shoes, shining brightly under her skirt. They spoke amongst themselves about Karen's red shoes at the funeral and about how disrespectful the shoes were. When what was said came to the old woman's ear, she got very angry.
You didn't listen to what I told you, and you put on the red shoes again. You're so stubborn, Karen. Show some respect.
A handsome young lord passing by at that time was struck by Karen's beauty. He came to her and went down on his knees and gave her compliments.
How beautiful you are, and so delicate in these beautiful shoes.
My lord, you make me blush.
You must be a very good dancer. I invite you to the dance night in the palace tonight. Please come.
With the happiness of the Lord's offer, Karen started dancing with joy. But after a while, Karen couldn't stop dancing. Why can't I stop my feet? What is happening? Oh! Karen started walking away from the old lady and the Lord while she was dancing.
Karen, come back.
Even though the Lord chased Karen for a while, he lost her. Karen's red shoes turned out to be more stubborn than Karen. They took her until top of the mountain and made her dance day and night for 3 days. Karen's feet hurt so much that she screamed at every step. Even though they got into the mud and prickly needles stuck, the shoes kept dancing. Enough! I'm very tired. I won't be so stubborn from now on. I promise. Please stop. Shoes, please stop. Stop. And when Karen said she'd give up all her stubbornness, the red shoes jumped off her feet, and Karen too fell to the ground. And the red shoes kept on dancing without her. Karen found a stick and managed to limp home in pain. Her legs hurt a lot. She started to cry with happiness when she saw her house. The old woman greeted her at the door. They hugged each other. I know I was a very stubborn girl, but I promise I won't be like that anymore. After Karen gave up her stubbornness, things started to get better. One day, someone knocked on the door. It was the young and handsome Lord.
Well, there you are, Karen. I tried to keep up, but you danced so fast. How did you do that?
Karen was glad to see the handsome and young Lord. That was the day the Lord and Karen's love began, leaving stubbornness behind. Karen lived a happy and peaceful life.
In a country far, far away, there were 2 sisters, famous for their arrogance and jealousy. They were so jealous of their sister, Beauty, that there was nothing they wouldn't do to have her beauty and happiness. That day, as the sisters were getting ready to go to the piano recital that Beauty was going to give, they started to argue, as usual.
Ugh! Why did you take my comb again?
First of all, it's not yours, it's Beauty's. And secondly, even if you comb it, your hair doesn't look like anything good.
Finally, when the comb broke and there was nothing left to fight, the sisters started making plans to upset Beauty. On the other hand, the evil witch Rosa, who lived in a huge castle, looked at her ugly face in the mirror and threw the dried roses in her hand to the ground.
Ugh, they just don't work. I'll be ugly forever.
Even when the witch Rosa was a young witch, everyone made fun of her ugliness. She tried thousands of spells and magics, but she couldn't get any better. One day, while she was about to crush the roses in her garden and make perfume to remove her ugly smell, her cat Mir got tangled in her feet, and the bowl of crushed roses fell over the witch's head. At that moment, the big moles on her face were gone. Her fluffy and ugly hair had become like silk.
Huh? My nose! My hair! My hands! I'm beautiful! Mir, look! I'm beautiful now!
The witch Rosa, who found a way to become beautiful, would wake up early every morning and cast the spell until a prince came and plucked the roses in her garden. While Rosa was covering her mirror with a sheet, she heard a crack. Two sisters, Barbara and Bianca, jostled through the castle door.
Is this the Witch Rosa's castle? Hey! Is there anyone there?
The jealous sisters of beauty were very frightened when they suddenly met the witch in the hall of the castle.
Who are you? And what are you doing here?
The sisters complained to the witch that Beauty was living a life she did not deserve, and that they wanted to end her happiness at today's piano recital.
So what do you want from me?
Cast a spell on her. Let her be fat like a ball, so that the prince will not want her.
But the prince will love her even if she's fat.
Then let's imprison her on the top of the mountain with 7 caves.
But the prince will find her there too.
When the sisters couldn't agree on a kind of decision and continued to argue, the witch Rosa cast a spell with her hand to silence them. She took a purple bottle from the potion cabinet and held it in the hand of one of the sisters.
Drop 3 drops of this potion onto Beauty's piano. Then you can thank me.
The sisters left excitedly. It was evening. Beauty saw her sisters come to the piano recital too.
Barbara, Bianca, my dear sisters, I missed you so much. We might have missed you too, maybe. How small is your house? Small? This is a palace, though.
And the piano is too old, huh?
Not old, actually. Antique. And very valuable.
When Beauty was away, Barbara secretly took the potion out of her pocket and handed it to Bianca. And Bianca dropped 3 drops of the elixir on Beauty's piano. Beauty did not realize this. Came and started playing the piano. Black smoke appeared around her. The song that was playing suddenly turned into a loud noise. Beauty was banging on the piano keys with everyone's astonished stares. Prince Richard tried to calm Beauty, but failed. All the guests left the palace in shock. The sisters also happily went to the room reserved for them. The next day, Beauty started yelling again at everyone she saw.
Princess, what happened to you? What's wrong?
What happened? Isn't it enough to be married to a beast? Ugh!
Prince Richard was very upset by what Beauty had said, as if his good-hearted, gentle princess was gone. Instead, a cruel, angry woman came. Beauty was firing a cook, a gardener, a maid with a new excuse every day. The sisters were watching with pleasure. and waiting in their rooms in the palace for the day when the prince would leave Beauty.
I wonder if this palace remains for me when the prince leaves Beauty.
As I am the elder, both the palace and the prince are my right.
On the day Prince Richard was fixing the keys of the piano, he noticed an empty potion bottle lying under the piano.
Oh no! What if this bottle…
Picking up the potion bottle, he knew it was the work of the witch Rosa. Immediately, he got on his horse and set off for the witch's castle. The castle door opened with a bang, and Prince Richard entered.
What do you want from us, witch? Why did you cast a spell on Beauty?
It wasn't me who did it. It was Beauty's sisters.
The prince desperately asked the witch Rosa how he could fix this.
I will break the spell. Only if you give me something to bring back my beauty.
Prince Richard took the wish necklace that he always carried with him, the only memory of his mother, from his pocket, and handed it to the witch Rosa. He said she could wish whatever she wanted, but she had to wait for the full moon 3 days later. The witch Rosa took the necklace and hid it in a box. She cast a spell towards the mirror and turned to the prince.
You got what you wanted. I broke the spell on Beauty. But if this necklace doesn't work, fear me, Prince.
The prince happily returned to his palace. He went to Beauty and told her what had happened one by one. And Beauty called all the employees and apologized to all of them. Seeing this, Barbara and Bianca accepted their defeat.
Oh, no!
And left the palace. The witch Rosa has not yet realized that beauty and goodness are not outward appearances. Whereas if a person's heart is good, the light on his face is always beautiful.